Pakistanis have been trying to convince themselves that it's all right, that India is not going to strike, that the crisis is over. And if you just see the kind of narratives of the Pakistani media, the narrative is basically this, that since it's been 10 days, the Indians are not going to strike and the Americans are going to step in. The Pakistanis will go crying to the Americans, go crying to the Chinese, go crying to the Turkish, and there'll be international pressure, blah, 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 and India is not going to strike. They're basically taking what in Hindi is called a rahat ki saas, a long breath of relief, and saying, relax, everything's going to be all right. And I have no problems with that, because if they want to fool themselves that everything's going to be all right, then India is not going to strike, they have every right to mislead themselves, because we will strike. We'll strike hard, we'll strike solid, we'll really strike nicely, and we'll take all the time in the world that we need to strike. Ladies and gentlemen, in the meantime, they can do what they want. A strategic error of the Pakistanis has been to try and put out what appears to be a toned down apology for Pahalgam in the name of a condemnation. What they're trying to say is, we condemn every single sentence of ISPR, ISI, Pakistani Defense Minister, Pakistani Foreign Minister, begins and ends by saying, we really condemn what happened in Pahalgam. We're really sorry. And obviously they're doing it under some persuasion from the West, trying to say, okay, we won't do it again. In fact, the most important development is of Bilawal Bhutto, who has said, we have been doing the dirty work, we are a terrorist nation, there is no secret we have had a past, and the past is that we've been a sponsor of terrorism. And this has been the statement that Bilawal Bhutto has made. He represents the ruling establishment. Khwaja Asif says, we've been doing the dirty work for America for 30 years. Which other self-respecting country in the world talks like that? But Pakistan is not a self-respecting country. They believe that by putting down what appears to be close to an apology, they will get away. But my question to them is this: it's as ridiculous as trying to say that if Osama bin Laden were to lick George Bush's boots, would America say that, okay, we accept your apology or your condemnation? No, America went to Abdabad and they went to his house and they bombed the living daylights out of him and they killed him. So Khwaja Asif, who keeps saying, Allah kare revert ho jaye, may Allah help us avert a war, is thinking of something that is not going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, they are turning to God. They have every right to do that. But the reality is this: nothing's going to change. Go back and look at the history. On 4th July 1999, Nawaz Sharif went to Bill Clinton and he said, save me, save me, save me. And what did Bill Clinton tell him? He said, come here only if you're ready to withdraw. I am not ready to help you if you're not going to pull back. The Americans finally have gone back to the Americans. The Pakistanis have gone back to the Americans, whose dirty work they admit they have been doing, and they're asking for relief. But if you look at the words, you look at the words of J.D. Vance, you look at the words of Trump, you look at the words of their defense secretary, ladies and gentlemen, it's absolutely clear. What are they saying? They are saying, J.D. Vance said, the US Vice President said, that our hope is that India responds to this terrorist attack in a way that it doesn't lead to a broader regional conflict. What does this mean? He's saying that we hope that India responds. First of all, we hope that India responds. So J.D. Vance is saying, I really hope that India hits Pakistan, but in a way that it doesn't lead to a larger regional conflict, in a way that it doesn't get Bangladesh and China and Bhutan and Nepal and Sri Lanka involved. And probably it won't. We're just going to hit Pakistan. We're not interested in making this a regional conflict, but it is an issue we have with Pakistan. So I think what J.D. Vance is actually saying is that he's calling for Indian military retaliation against Pakistan. Have no doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going swimmingly good for India. And the big question in your mind is when? I don't know. We can only second guess what the Indian government is thinking. I'm pretty sure we're going to hit. We are going to hit. We're going to do exactly what Amit Shah has said, what the Prime Minister has said. But as they say, the timing is completely up to us. We have the edge. And they can be as nervous as they want to be for as long as they want.